Okay, so for the first block of codes, this would be for getting the input or the sequence from the user. The input would be stored in the xn variable, and then the length would be stored in the len variable, and the xk variable would be for initializing an array of same size as that of the input sequence. Next code block is this one. This would be for finding the DFT of the sequence. There's going to be 2 for loops and equation. This would be the equation and getting the DFT. For the next block of code would be for plotting the input sequence. Subplot with the value of 2 to 1, and then the features of the graph would be t and the xn. The y-axis would have the label of amplitude, and time index would be the label for the x-axis, and input sequence would be the label of the graph. This code right here is for finding the magnitude of the individual DFT points, which is the absolute value of the xk. Next block of code is for plotting the magnitude response. It's with subplot 2 to 2, and the features would be t and the magnitude. The y label, the label of the y-axis would be amplitude, and the x-axis would have the label of k, and the title of that graph would be magnitude response. This code right here, the phase angle would be for finding the phases of the individual DFT points, which is basically the angle of xk. The next block of code would be for the phase response graph with a subplot 2 to 3, then features of the t and phase, y-axis with the label of phase, x-axis label would be k, and the graph label would be phase response. Lastly is for displaying the values of xk, which is first need to put the input, which is 1 2 3 4 4 3 2 and 1 to display the value of xk, which is this one up until this one. And as we can see, we also have here the 3 graphs, which is for the input sequence, magnitude response, and the phase response.